Hey everybody, it's Tiffany from Quilter's Workshop, and today we're going to be doing some outdoor patio cushions. You can use these for whatever you want. You can use the technique to make chair pads or just like toss cushions for an outdoor sofa or an outdoor bench if you have one. I'm just going to be using them for some plastic chairs that I have outside. And I saw this, so what I'm actually using is an outdoor tablecloth that I picked up at HomeSense for about $15, and it is water resistant, so the water is going to bounce right off of them if it rains or if you accidentally forget to bring them inside. And finding water resistant fabric in really nice prints can be a little bit difficult, especially where I live. There's usually not as much choice when it comes to prints, and I saw this and I immediately thought that I really wanted some outdoor cushions in this material. So this is the fabric. It's just really beautiful and really unique. It has some large flowers on it and some little palm leaves, and it has elephants and birds and butterflies and camels. It's just really fun and like tropical, and you know what? It was $15, and the tablecloth itself is 60 by 84 inches. So if that was 60 wide fabric, that's over 2 meters of material for $15. Anyway, so I've already cut it. So I thought that it would be easier because it is such a large piece and I'm a little bit cramped for space right now. I thought it would be easier to cut it and explain to you how I cut it rather than trying to cut it and film at the same time. Hi friends, so it's many hours later now. As you can tell, I look a little bit different. While I was filming, my camera battery decided to die, and now we're gonna try this all over again. So sorry for my appearance, but you know what? This is a sewing channel. It's very real. It's not a beauty channel or anything like that. And yeah, I'm wearing my nightie, and I bet you that there's probably like a whole bunch of people watching this that are sewing, and they're in their pajamas right now too. So if you're wearing your pajamas, comment down below and tell me to make me feel better. Anyway, so as I was saying, we're gonna be cutting this. You're going to cut off the hem on the top part of your tablecloth before you begin. And then what you're going to do, if you're using 18-inch pillow forms, is we want to cut the fronts of our pillows 18 inches by 18 inches square. You might, if you want to, you can cut them a little bit bigger, but I find that particularly with the brand of pillow forms that I have, if I cut my fabric 18 inches, it fits in there nice and tight, and that's how I want this to fit. Also, if you were wondering, before we get started, this $15 tablecloth is getting me 4 pillow covers, so I think that's insane. So, if you are cutting with scissors or a rotary cutter, the first thing that you want to do after you've trimmed off this edge and gotten rid of the hem is you're going to come over here and you're going to cut 18 inches. So one thing that you could do if you're using scissors is on the back side of your fabric, you can draw lines in pen or pencil or fabric chalk or anything like that, and you can draw it all out like a grid and then cut everything separately after. If you're using a rotary cutter, because this is 60 inches long, what you would do is you would fold up your tablecloth in half like this so that you're cutting both layers at once, and then cut that 18-inch strip off. Now, from that 18-inch strip, you're going to get 3 fronts of your pillow cases. So I've already cut it, so this is the first one here. That is 18 by 18 inches. And then up the rest of the width of it, we also have a second one right there, and a third one, because it's 60 inches wide, right? And you can fit 3 of them in there if you're cutting them 18. If you're cutting them a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, you would be able to fit more or less depending on what you're doing. Now, from there, we need also 1 more front, right? Because we got 3 and we're making 4, so we need 1 more front. And then from the rest of it, we're going to get backing pieces. Now, I'm not going to put any zippers in these pillows because I want them to be as simple and easy and carefree as possible, which is exactly what the summer should be. So we're going to cut the last front square right here. So that's piece number 4, 18 by 18. Now, I cut this section exactly how I did the first one. I literally just cut a giant 18 by 18, sorry, I cut a strip off of the tablecloth 18 inches. You could do the same thing if you're cutting fabric off of a bolt of material, just cut an 18-inch strip. Now, from the rest of that strip, I now have approximately 40-ish inches. So from this, I'm going to have plenty to do the back of a pillow and have a little bit extra as well. But for now, I'm just going to set that aside. And then from the remaining part of our tablecloth, because it was 84, and we've already cut 2 strips that are 18, we're going to cut a third one. And then the last piece that you have is going to be a little bit bigger than 18 if it's the same dimensions as my tablecloth, and that's fine. So we're going to basically get 1 backing from this piece, 1.5 backings from this piece, and another 1.5 backings from the last piece. And that is going to give you the backing for all 4. Okay, so backing number 1. This is going to be the 18-inch strip that you got the 4th backing from. So this is the one that's shorter than the other 2 strips that we have over there. So what you're going to do, because I'm going to do this as simple and easy as possible, I'm going to fold this in half because I want to cut it in half. So I'm going to just cut right up this line here. Okay, so I cut that simply just to separate it. So to do an envelope back, basically it involves 2 pieces of material, and I like to overlap it. If I'm going to be doing an 18-inch pillow, I usually like to have the 2 pieces overlap about like 7 inches, a little bit more if you have some to spare. But because this is a directional print, what I want to just make clear to you is that if this is the backing of my pillow, how I'm going to be looking at it with the one piece underneath the other, you want to make sure that the sides that you hem for the envelope backing are correct based on the direction of the material. So for example, I need to hem this edge right here, and I also need to hem this edge. So if I'm going to be hemming this edge here, what you're going to do is just fold it down 1/4 of an inch like so, and then fold it down another 1/4 of an inch, and you're going to pin that in place. I'm going to do that along this side and also on the bottom of this piece. Okay, so this is one of the hems that we're going to be doing right now that we've folded and pinned, and we're just going to sew with the edge of your pressure foot there on the edge of that top fold so that your needle is going to be relatively close to the bottom. Okay, so I've finished sewing the hem on both those seams that I showed you before, and now I'm going to show you how I sandwich this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the backing pieces down first with the right side of the material facing up, and just make sure that the side with your hem follow a line on your board just so that you know that you're nice and straight across there. So that's the first piece. And then the second piece, and this is the point where you're going to check that you've hemmed the right side of the fabric. So we've got camels going upwards and camels going upwards, and your hem that you did is there, and your other hem that you did is right here. So now we're going to overlap these pieces about 7 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you want this hem to be on that line because it's 7 inches down from the line where the other hem is underneath there. And then you're just going to come across and just make sure that everybody is nice and straight here, nice and flat and everything. Oh, next line. Okay, nice. Now you're going to take the front piece, or one of the front pieces in this case, and you're going to put that nice side down and just double check that your prints are going upwards. So here we go, we've got our bird facing up, matches our camels. And the reason that I cut it a little bit bigger is so that you can center the front of your pillow based off where the backs are. So I like to think that, like, you can feel the seam from this piece of the backing, and you can see this one. I like that to be divided up into thirds almost in your pillow, so you can see that there. So once you're happy with the front and you've got this centered and you've got a little bit of extra material all around, you're going to pin this all in place. Okay, so we've got the pins in. I'll just show you, just like that. I like to pin sideways like this instead of pinning like this way along the material, because I find this easier to pull them out as I'm sewing. But anyway, now we're going to sew all the way around with the edge of our pressure foot on this edge of the pillow, so that your seam is going to be about 1/4 of an inch from that edge all the way around. We're not going to leave any openings. You can either pivot at the corners, or if you're more comfortable, you can come all the way off one way and then restart the side so that your sewing lines will sort of cross at each corner. Okay, so now that you've sewn all the way along and you're happy with your seams and everything, we're going to trim off the excess backing so that it's even with the front. Okay, so now that you have all of your edges trimmed off, we're going to serge it. If you don't have a serger, you can totally just zigzag it, but this material, like as you can see there, it is going to fray quite a bit, and because these are going to be outdoor cushions, like I just want them to be able to be washed and to not have to be super delicate. I want them to last for a while, so I'm going to serge them. Alright, so now we're going to flip this over and reach through there and turn it right side out. Alright, and there you have it. There's the front, and there's the back with your little envelope backing right there, and that's where you're going to put the pillow form in. Okay, my friends, 1 down, 3 more to go. So basically what you're going to do with the other 2 pieces that you have now, because remember the last 2 pieces that we cut were the full width of the tablecloth, so that means that we have to get 3 pieces of backing out of this one and 3 out of that, because we have 3 more pillows to do and each backing needs 2 pieces, so we need to get 6 equal parts. So basically I would recommend just cutting both of these pieces into thirds.